Good morning, guys. All right, one more time. Good morning, guys. Morning. There we go. All right. So, yeah, thank you, Stacy. Yesterday was a really cool meeting. Me and Kelsey were surprised at how many people showed up, and we were surprised at like how well people participated. Like I was really nervous. Well, I told you guys ahead of time. The goal of the thing was like, let's get as many people involved and as many, minds together, different ideas. We don't want it to be like, this is what Will wants to do in 2026. We want it to be like, this is what our church family wants to do. And I'm seriously, like when I look back on it, like I remember Sam pitching in ideas and Braden pitching in ideas and Kelsey pitching ideas and Lisa pitching ideas and Monica and Ashley and Mark and Lisa and and Reagan brought the heat. Like, we need to put her in charge of something. Like, every time she spoke up, I was like, oh, it's going to be like, we should paint flowers on the walls, and it was like awesome ideas. Seriously, it was great. Yeah, the kids participated. I know I'm leaving some people out. Walt, Monica, they had awesome, it was a great event. So thank you everybody for showing up and for the good food. I'm glad Novella brought biscuits, because you brought biscuits, right? I did. Those were okay. Nobody makes, and gravy, right? Okay, because the biscuits and gravy I ate were on point. They were really good. All right, so Stacy's kind of idea yesterday, like a theme for the year, was being a blessing, and so I just want to make sure that this is kind of crystal clear before we get into the lesson. We're trying to have a goal for the whole year. By we, I mean like the elders, I mean me, I mean like our church. Our goal for this year, like every day that you wake up, it'd be nice if this phrase went through your head. Being a blessing. Okay? Y'all got it? All right. So the whole year is about me being a blessing. And we're going to split that up into 4 quarters. I might need help on this. I know the first quarter is going to be about walk with me. That's Jesus, walk with me. Oh, do you have them, Monica, by chance? Somebody have them written down? The second one was faith in action. Third quarter is open doors. That's Lisa's idea, I think. Fourth quarter is making disciples. So all of those fit under this umbrella of how can I be a blessing to people in 2026, to my church family, to my physical family, to people I go to school with. Okay. So this quarter, we're going to spend a lot of stuff themed around this idea of, like, imagine Jesus saying these words, walk with me, okay? So I thought today it would be really, really fitting for us to talk a little bit about what is it like to actually walk with Jesus? Okay, that's what today's about. What is it like to walk with Jesus? So here's what we're going to do. I want you to be prepared with what you're going to see. We're going to go through John chapter 6. If you got your Bibles, go to John chapter 6. Some of this stuff we're going to go verse by verse. Some of it I'm going to summarize because I'm just going to go ahead and get you to the punchline. The end of John chapter 6 is very, I don't know if surprising is the right word. That's where we're going to pull our lessons from, okay? But it's not going to make any sense unless we're like, let's tell the story. So let's tell the story of all of John chapter 6. And our very last slide, that's what y'all are paying to be here for, okay? The very last slide is going to be, okay, so if I walk with Jesus, what lessons do I learn from John chapter 6? That's what you're going to learn, all right? And you might come up with some other bullet points that I don't come up with. But let's talk about the story. All right, so John 6, the first thing that happens is Jesus is going to feed the 5,000. Can y'all say, Jesus fed the 5,000? All right, y'all are following along. So, Jesus is going to feed the 5,000, and when you see chapter 6, verse 2, it says there, a great multitude followed him because they saw his signs, which he performed on those who were diseased. All right? Okay. Thank you, Jay. I'll move on. So, Jesus has been healing the sick, right? He's been healing the diseased. So why are the people there? I just told you. Because Jesus has been healing the sick and healing the diseased, right? So there's this large crowd that's gathering, and Jesus tests his disciples, and he says, I bet this crowd's getting hungry. How are we going to feed them? Right? Jesus has been performing miracles. He's turned the water to wine, all that stuff. But he asked his disciples. So first one is Philip. And you know how Philip reacts? He's like, well, Jesus, I don't care if you had $1 million in the bank account. I don't think we got enough money to feed these people. How does that make you feel for Jesus? Not too good. Like, okay, so you don't think we can feed them. And then he asks Andrew, and Andrew at least is like, well, I've scrounged up a little bit of bread and a little bit of fish, but that's hardly enough food to feed one meal. I mean, to feed one family, one meal. So Andrew's a little bit more optimistic, but even still, what does Andrew think? Probably not going to happen. But the crowd thinks, we've seen this guy heal people. I wonder what he can do for us, right? Okay, so Jesus ends up feeding the 5,000. He was like, kind of that, like, guys, oh, you have little faith. Let me see what you got, Andrew. I'm going to turn that. And then when he's done with it, if you remember, he has more food, more bread and fish left over than when he started, right? Because that's what God does. So Jesus feeds the 5,000, and then, this is important, verse 15, why the crowd? It says, verse 15, therefore, when Jesus perceived that they were about to come and take him by force to make him king, what did he do? He left. So they're like, oh man, not only is this guy healing diseases, he's taking away illnesses, he just miraculously fed us, this whole stadium full of people, and he ended up somehow coming up with more food than when he started with, even after feeding us. And so they're like, what? We should make this guy king. This guy could, he could be king, he could deliver us from the Romans, we could win. We could finally get out of captivity, so to speak. So Jesus is like, no, that's not why I'm here. So Jesus leaves, he withdraws from there, and then his disciples get in a boat, they go out on the water, and Jesus has one of the famous encounters of Jesus walking on the water, right? He gets in the boat, they're immediately the other side, the storm and all that stuff, it's all great. Okay, now why do I bring that up? Is because we're going to get to verse 26 and 27. This has a really good point, guys. Just keep following with me. So chapter 6, 26 and 27. Nope, sorry. I should have summarized this. Verses 22 to 25. On the following day, when the people, this crowd, when they were standing on the other side of the sea, they saw that there was no other boat there except the one which his disciples had entered, and that Jesus had not entered the boat with his disciples, but his disciples had gone away alone. However, other boats came from Tiberias near the place where they had ate bread after the Lord had given thanks. When the people therefore saw that Jesus was not there, nor his disciples, they also got into boats and came to Capernaum seeking Jesus. And when they found him on the other side of the sea, they said to him, Rabbi, when did you come here? Okay, now let me give you the Horse Branch translation. Y'all ready for the Horse Branch translation? Okay. What dat? There you go. There's a Horse Branch translation. I'm not saying it again. I felt stupid. All right. So they have seen him heal diseases, correct? And then the next miracle they saw, he fed the 5,000, right? And then they all notice that his 12 disciples got into a boat without Jesus, went to the other side of the sea, but Jesus is there, and Jesus didn't get into the boat. So what does that mean? They saw one more miracle, correct? And so they're like, man, this guy just keeps performing signs. I mean, it's just blowing me away. So let's pause and ask. You can think about street signs. I don't care. What do signs do? Tell you where to go, right? They give you instructions, right? They point to something else. So why did Jesus have signs? The point is not the sign itself, right? The point is to prove I came from where? I came from God. I came from heaven. So I'm doing this stuff so that you'll understand that I'm actually the only begotten Son of the Father, of the Creator of the universe. That's why I do this stuff. Right? Right? Okay, now let's keep piecing this together. Now let's pick up in verse 26 and 27. Okay, so when they're like, when did you get here, Jesus? How did this happen? This must have been another miracle. So this is Jesus' response. Most assuredly, I say to you, you seek me. Ooh, this is where it's going to get real. Okay? You seek me not because you saw the signs, but because you ate of the loaves and were filled. What does that mean? That means I'm just here because the pizza party, right? You're not here because of the miracles. You're here because you got to eat food and you're filled up. And maybe you're ready for what? When's the next meal coming? Can you do that thing again where you make food and feed us all? And then maybe the next day, can you do that thing again where you made food and feed us all? Did Jesus come here to give bread to the whole world physically for the rest of their lives? No. Why did he come here? Verse 27, do not labor for the food which perishes, but for the food which endures to everlasting life, which the Son of Man will give you, because God the Father has set his seal on him. So when they hear that, guess what they're like? Wait, you're telling me food forever? This is just like the woman at the well. Remember what happened with the woman at the well? Like, where is this eternal water that I don't have to keep coming here to draw? And what is she thinking? Physical water. And what are they thinking? Physical bread. And so then Jesus says, this is the work of God, that you believe in me whom he sent. So to answer the question of, are you hungry? Are you not satisfied? Are you trying to feed this appetite in your heart with all these worldly things? And guess what? It's like a black hole and it's not getting fed. It's not getting filled, correct? Are you tired of feeding that machine that just keeps consuming what the world has to offer? Let me give you the everlasting bread. How do I get that? Believing in me. The point that you start to put your trust in Jesus Christ, that hole starts to get filled. And now I'm not trying to fill that void with a relationship and with money and with a substance and with stuff on the internet and with people's opinions and responses. And now I'm filling that stuff with what God thinks, and what God thinks is, I'm good enough. So, Jesus said, you got to believe in me. And then it says, what does the crowd want to be able to do? They're like, hey, we want to be able to have this food. They might even be saying like, we'd love to perform this miracle like you do. Like, could you give us the power to make bread? You know, that'd be sweet. And Jesus says, the way that you get this is by your belief. Okay. And then this is nuts. This is absolutely nuts. It's absolutely nuts. You know what the crowd says? When Jesus says you got to believe in me, you know what they say? This is so dumb. Therefore they said to him, well, what sign are you going to perform so that we will believe you? Do y'all hear that? Okay, well, where's the proof, Jesus? And then they have the audacity to say, let me give you a good example of a sign that would cause us to believe in you. Y'all ready? Here's a good example of a sign that would cause us to believe in you. How about that time in the Old Testament where Moses gave manna, food, to the Israelites? Do y'all see how dumb this is? Okay, we just witnessed what? This crowd is there because they saw him healing the sick. The crowd experienced the feeding of the 5,000, correct? They have put two and two together and they have inferred Jesus must have walked on the water to get to the other side because there's no boats here. They've seen all those things. And then when Jesus says, I can fill the void that's in your life, they're like, how? You got to believe in me. Well, why would we believe in you, Jesus? I wonder why you would believe in it. And they're like, well, here's what. We'll believe in you if you perform a miracle. You're kidding. Yeah, perform a miracle. In fact, if it could be a miracle, something along the lines of like making food pop up out of nowhere like Moses did. You're insane. Really? You want me to make food pop up out of nowhere? Like the thing that just happened? Right? Do y'all see what I'm saying? Do y'all see how like Jesus must have just been like, ah! Like what is happening right now? This is crazy. Okay. We're almost to the good stuff. We're almost to the really good stuff. Okay. So then Jesus goes on to like, okay, you want to pull the Moses card? Let's talk about the food that Moses gave. The manna in the wilderness. Let's talk about that for a second. First of all, do y'all remember like when Moses crossed the Red Sea? Do you remember what physical action he did to kind of make that happen? All right, he's got the staff and the Charleston Heston, part the waters, that sort of thing. Do you know what physical action Moses did to cause manna to come down, for manna to appear on the ground every morning? Do you know what he did to make that happen? Nothing. You know what that means? How much credit does Moses get for making bread pop up? None. So why are you giving Moses credit? He had nothing to do with it. How much? How much credit, guys? Nothing. And on top of that, you know what happened to every person that ate the physical manna? You know what eventually happened to them? They died. So was Moses giving everlasting life? No. He wasn't even giving it, and it wasn't everlasting life. You know what is right here standing in front of you that has popped up by God's grace out of the ground, out of nowhere to give you everlasting life? Jesus. What did we do to deserve that? Nothing. Where did it come from? Heaven. It's like manna 2.0 better in every aspect and in every way. So, what did Jesus have to say about Moses and the bread in the wilderness? It's like, guys, first of all, you're giving Moses way too much credit. He didn't do jack squat. Second of all, the food that they got, after they got done eating it, they died. But the food that I'm going to give you, you will live forever. Do you guys believe you're going to live forever? Okay. I see what you're saying. Okay. After we die, do you all believe that there's an afterlife? Do you guys feel good about where you're going? I feel real good. You know how good I feel? Like, I'm cocky about it. Like, I've got that level of confidence. And why is that, Josh? Why am I overly confident about where I'm going to spend eternity? Because I'm a piece of trash, and only with Jesus am I invincible. And because when I go face judgment, I'm not taking my moral resume. I don't want y'all seeing the stuff I've done in the past. Stuff that I do today and I'm going to do tomorrow. I don't want y'all to know about it because it's embarrassing. But when I go to heaven, you know what I'm taking? The blood of Jesus Christ. Isn't that sweet? Isn't that fantastic? I'm not taking the bad or the good. No matter how good it gets, I'm not taking any of it. I'm only taking Jesus Christ. So Jesus says, you can live forever. Anybody know that quote? It's a good quote. Forever, right? Jesus says you can live forever. How? When you eat me, like, that's weird. What? It's like, when you eat my body, bread, when you drink my blood, fruit of the vine, when you consume me. Well, when do we do that, guys? Do we ever do that? Do we ever eat bread and drink wine? I mean, you know, non-alcoholic, of course. Do we ever eat bread and drink wine here? It's almost like every day, every first day of the week, like every day that Jesus was resurrected from the dead, what do we get to remember? Oh, yeah. Because of him, I'm going to heaven. Every day. At least every Sunday. As long as we are consuming Jesus Christ, we have the confidence that what is going to happen to us after we die. You can't kill me. Right, Josh? I mean, you can. You think you can kill me, but you can't actually kill me. In fact, if you did physically kill me, guess what? I'm better off than you are. Joke's on you, sucker. Because where we're going is better than anything we will experience in this life. Okay. What's next? Okay. So, chapter 6, 41 through 65, it's a long section. Here's the punchline of that. The crowd is continuing to be obsessed with, like, but we really want to fill our stomachs. You know, like, we really want this bread. Not you, we really want the bread. Like, we're hungry, physically. We really want some Italian urban cheese from Subway, you know what I'm saying? Like, we want some good stuff, some garlic naan, we want some yummy, we want food. And Jesus is trying to convince them, no, you don't. You don't want food. What you want is me. And they continue like, no, we think we want food. And so here's what happens. This is like some of the saddest verses. Do y'all know the, I'm not going to talk about this, okay? Y'all, I'm not biting, and you're not biting either. But y'all know Revelation, Mark of the Beast, 666, right? This is a good way to remember John 666. Mark of the Beast, bad thing. You know, people get all superstitious, and I'm not going to talk about it. But just remember John 6:66, because you know what it says? After Jesus continually tries to convince them, you don't want my physical miracles. You want my heart transplant. You want to be satisfied and happy the rest of your days. And this is what happens, starting in verse 666. As a result of this, many of his disciples, did y'all read that? What's a disciple? It's a student, a follower. Many of the people who were following Jesus, what did they do? They withdrew, and they were not walking with him anymore. And then I feel like you see the humanity of Jesus, and I feel like anybody that's in a leadership role has experienced this. People start getting up and walking out. You know how that makes you feel if you're trying to lead. You know how that makes you feel? People just get up and leave and walk out. And you know what Jesus does? He turns and he says to the 12, "You do not want to go away also, do you?" Like, can you imagine? Like, you just got to see tears in Jesus' eyes. You just got to see like his head and his lap between his knees. You've got to see him just completely disappointed. And when he looks to his 12, what does he think? Are y'all next too? But Peter, on rare occasion, knocks it out of the park. And what does Peter say? He says, Lord, where are we going to go? Amen. All right, I want my whole church to participate in this, okay? Mandatory amen coming up. Lord, where are we going to go? Amen. Like, what's the other option, guys? If not God, what's the other option? Because self-pleasure hasn't been working. Why am I going to go back to that? Right, Willow? Willow, what is the other option? Right? There's not another option. All other options are trash. So, Peter says, Jesus, where in the world would we go if we wanted to walk away? I mean, like literally, it's like, I don't know, it's like being at Christmas or something. It's like Christmas in your own house. It's like, I'm leaving. It's like, where are you going to go on Christmas? Everything's closed. All the presents are here. Your family's here. The good food is here. What are you going to do? Going to go sit in a sinkhole for a couple hours? There's nothing to do. It's Christmas here. So Peter's like, Jesus, where would we go? You have words of eternal life. We have believed and have come to know that you are the Holy One of God. All right. So here's why y'all paid to be here today. Okay, you ready? This is the big takeaways. Here's what I want y'all to know. 3 negatives and then positives. Don't read ahead. Don't cheat. Don't read ahead. Let's go one at a time. Here's what you need to know about walking with Jesus, because we're going to be completely honest, and we're going to give you the no filter picture. Here's the no filter, all right? Some people will doubt Jesus' power, even his closest disciples. Here's what you got to know. And by the way, if you all know me on a pretty personal level, I'm the worst person to give this sermon, by the way. Like, for real, because I care. Jared, so help me. Watch it. I will send some pictures to the inspector. Like, hey, come check his place out. I know this ain't up to code. Sticking it together, bubble gum and a prayer, just hoping it holds. All right. All right. Yeah, better pray every time you walk through those doors. I mean, double time. All right. So here's what you really got to know. Here's what Will Gott needs to know. Well, you need to know that when you are walking with Jesus in 2026, people will doubt what Jesus is capable of, and even some of his closest people will doubt what he's capable of. All right, here's another thing you need to know. Some people are just going to show up for the free food. Josh knows. Josh knows, right? Like some people, like Jesus kind of says it this way. It's like, you're not really here for me. You're here because the bread tasted good. You're not really here because you're impressed that I have miraculous abilities. You're not impressed by the sign. You're impressed by the benefits of being around me. You know? Like, I just want the cool stuff that comes along. Like, give me the forgiveness without the stipulations. You know, without the me changing and the heart stuff and the strings attached. Just give me the good part. So we have to remember that some people are just going to show up for the free pizza, and when the pizza runs out, what's going to happen, Willow? Yeah. They're gone. That was on cue. All right. So when the free food's gone, they're out. Here's another one. You got to be prepared that some people are eventually going to just walk away. That even sounded like it was kind of a shame, like, yeah. It's like disappointed, yeah. Yeah. We have to remember that our walk with Jesus Christ, there are going to be people that, like, we're like, oh man, this is great. Numbers are looking good. We got a lot of commitment. We got a lot of this. Like, things are going great. And then just, where are you going? I'm out, man. And if my participation in God's kingdom is dependent on everybody else's participation, I will be let down. I need to show up each and every day and bring my God-given gifts and my best work ethic. I need to bring that to the table each and every day, regardless of what everybody else is doing. First and best. Like, I'm not saying this in a self-righteous way, but I'm going to let y'all in on a little secret, okay? I've got like kind of like my prayer list. I've got my few things that I have to pray for. And if I pray every day, this is what I'm praying about. Number one on that list, you know what it is? My salvation is enough. Like that's like I have to dig that into my brain. Because regardless of what else happens, my salvation's enough. And don't take credit for the good, because if you start taking credit for the good, you're going to start taking credit for the bad. And you're going to start feeling guilty and wearing that on your sleeve all the time. If it's a packed house, don't be like, oh man, what do we do to do this? I need to do this again next week. This got us a packed house. Because then what happens? When you have an empty house, what do you think? Oh man, what did I do? I must have done something wrong. Blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, Will, get out of your head, you idiot. You need to show up each and every day. You need to give God your best. Your salvation is enough regardless of what everybody else does. And that's true of each of you all. And I'm not saying you can't depend on other people, okay? Because we are supposed to depend on each other. But your primary thing that you lean on is Jesus Christ. All right, now here's the last thing, and here's the good stuff, okay? Here's the good stuff. If you decide to walk with Jesus in 2026, some people are going to realize that there's nowhere better to be than walking with the Lord. And you need to surround yourself with those sort of people. Notice I didn't say good people, right? Surround yourself with people that know there's nowhere better to be than with the Lord. It's the best place to be. You know what else? When you're walking with the Lord, when you're walking with Jesus, you know what you get to witness? Miracles. This is a cool one. I love I learned this from you guys. Are these extravagant promises? We think not, right? They're being fulfilled among, I couldn't quote that part. I knew it was something like that. Are these extravagant promises that God could completely change somebody? No, in fact, that's the only reason why I came here. In fact, his goal is that how many people would do that? The entire planet. It's not an extravagant promise. But when you're walking with the Lord, you get to witness miracles. And it is a great thing to see people's lives change. You talk about fulfilling. Like, think about how different this room is from 3 years ago. Seriously. Like, I mean, we're about outvoted, Josh. Like, the original crew is gone. I mean, it's just like, not gone. Look at all the people that were not here 3 years ago. You know? You know how encouraging it is to like be around somebody who is spiritually growing? Like, man, I remember when so-and-so, oh man, I mean, you just, couldn't hardly be around them. I hated seeing them coming, pulling in the driveway, like, lock the door, close the blinds, we're not here, you know? And it's like, man, there's a lot of people that you're like, compared to who you were, it is so cool to be around you. Like, I am so proud of what God's doing in your life. So if you decide to walk with Jesus in 2026, you need to know that some people will realize that there's nowhere better to be. And like the song, is it the Dry Bones song? It's such a good song. It's like, I believe there's a miracle here in this room. Man, I wish we could all sing that. That's a great one. This is the sound of dry bones rattling. Bow, bow, bow. Man, it's so good. But if we sang that song, okay, if we sang it, here's what we would be singing to each other. I believe there's a miracle here in this room. Isn't that cool? Like, Paula ain't going to fix your foot. Like, I can't do that, okay? But you talk about taking somebody who is not satisfied and who is feeding their soul every day with dumb worldly stuff, and they could be feeding their soul with Jesus Christ. That's a miracle. And I think we're all living witnesses of miracles that have happened in this room. And there's probably some more. So my question for you guys is, we're going to stand up and sing, Just As I Am, I Come Broken. Okay? My question for y'all, let's go ahead and let's all stand. Let's all stand up. All right? I'm going to make it short. You won't have to stand long. Let's all stand up. We're going to sing, Just As I Am, I Come Broken. Here's my question, guys. First and foremost, are you walking with the Lord? You need to know the answer to that question. Like, that needs to be a very, if it's not an immediate, confident, like, hey, you know, do you have a car? Like, there's no like, I'm not sure. Like, you got a car or you don't. Are you walking with the Lord? Yes or no? If no, you need to address that today before you leave this building. All right. If you are walking with the Lord, a lot of us are, you need to remember these 4 bullet points. People will doubt his power, even some of his closest disciples, but that's okay because I'm walking with the Lord. I don't care about what they're doing. I'm walking with the Lord. All right? You need to remember that some people are going to show up just for the free food. There's always going to be like the, what's that, like the bandwagon kind of people, right? There's always going to be like the after COVID, what happened to all the churches? They all shrunk by about 30% because all these people that are just kind of filling in pews, and then you get them out of the habit of going to church for 3 months, and then what happens? They're like, well, I was never really in it. It's like, okay, we had a false understanding of who in here was connected with God. All right, so there's always going to be like these freeloaders. I'm just here for the food. You also have to remember that when you walk with Jesus, some people are going to walk away. Some of your leaders may walk away. I might walk away. People have been doing it for 20 years might walk away. But it doesn't matter, right? Because I am walking with the Lord. And if I'm the only person that gets saved on the face of this planet, would be terrible, but if I'm the only person that is saved on the face of this planet, thanks be to God that he chose to save me. And lastly, the positive is you need to realize that there's absolutely nowhere better to be than walking with Jesus Christ. And if you're walking with Jesus Christ, just buckle up because you're going to witness some amazing things. Are you walking with Jesus? Let's stand and sing. We're already standing. Let's sing. Sorry.